hey, just me. Oh, whoa. Here's the review. Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're going to be talking about the newest blockbuster hit theaters and streaming services all around. It's Mortal Kombat. The contest of champions is about to commence, and if Earthrealm doesn't figure out how to train its own set of unlikely champions, the entirety of the human race will be enslaved to the realm that wins in something called Mortal Kombat. So as much as I know that the original video game series was this big popular thing, I'm one of the few people that never really played them, mostly because I don't really consider myself to be a gamer. I'll sit back, I'll play around with Sudoku, Solitaire, or Nanograms, but when it comes down to console games, I've learned that they're not really my cup of tea. But that doesn't really mean that I haven't always had a little bit of a fascination surrounding Mortal Kombat, especially in the vast assortment of characters with special abilities that they have. That's the thing that has always piqued my interest, even though most of their abilities have been done in other superhero movies or comic books, like the controlling ice thing. I mean, you got Iceman, Mr. Freeze, Frozone, Killer Frost, Captain Cold, whatever. And every single character in this film is the same way. None of them really have abilities that feel fresh to me as a huge superhero fan, but even then, I don't really care. It's how they ultimately use these abilities that make the project feel original. And I mostly like the utilization here, which usually came into play during these fight scenes, and this film is nothing if it isn't for the fight scenes. As a guilty pleasure fan of martial arts action films, I can't really help but have a good time while watching this movie, especially if I can just shut off my brain and just enjoy the dumb action for the dumb action. Because just like Godzilla vs. Kong, that's why you came to see the movie, and if that sounds like you, I can guarantee that you'll at least have a good time with it, but you better be a fan of the video game series first. I'm telling you this because I never really played it, and for a lack of a better explanation, I definitely missed out on some stuff. This film was definitely created with the fans in mind, and it somewhat relies on their knowledge of the game series in order to answer some of the biggest questions you have, such as, who's this? Who's that? What's going on here? And why does any of it matter in the first place? Because the movie on its own doesn't really offer you any answers on that. I specifically kept asking what in the world this Mortal Kombat thing even is. I mean, I understand that it's a death match, that the winner gets to enslave the other person's world or whatever. I just kept asking, why? Why would a winner of a stupid fighting tournament rule somebody else's entire planet in the first place? How would they go about ruling and enslaving the world? Why would they want to? What's their motives? Why does any of this matter? And the more that I asked these questions, the more empty-handed I became, because these are all questions you might get answers to in the games. As a standalone film, I have to say that a lot of this storytelling felt weak and shallow, which makes sense. I mean, it is a gimmick film, after all, so if all you're watching for is the action or the fight scenes, it won't disappoint you. The action really is fantastic. The visuals with literally everything during the fight scenes look great. Some of the gory moments were perfectly timed, but here's where I ran into an issue. All of these fight scenes are great clips. Each one you can, and the world most likely will, upload each individual fight scene to maybe YouTube or something, and then bam, the main reason you watch the movie is displayed for the world to see right on YouTube. Because the story on its own is nothing special. Take that out and you'd probably be a happy camper. So how does that translate to a final score? From an unbiased level, I did mention that the fight scenes were great, and that goes a little bit into the editing and the visuals for the most part. They all look great all around, which certainly goes into the score, but because the story of the film is also lacking anything worthwhile, this score is just fine at 70%. And when it comes down to my bias score, in general, I had fun. I'm somebody that has a guilty pleasure in watching fight sequences play out, and there's no exception here. So my bias score is a bit higher here at 88%, but when we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 79%. 79 out of 100 possible stars, or a C+ letter grade. The film's fine, but definitely gets categorized in the popcorn flick section of movies. I can't really see it winning any awards unless your awards category is, best dumb action film. Then, maybe. Anyways, I want to hear from you. Are you a fan of the video game series? And how does that experience affect your viewing of the movie? As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert, he is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us